Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into something that might seem basic, but it's really the heart of fermentation. We're talking about the vessel itself, and we'll be looking through the lens of Kesser and Steen's project, making that apple cider vinegar for Tante Grün. Now, their goal is an alcohol, sure, but the principles for the container, they're pretty much universal. Our mission is to uncover why this container choice is so crucial.
It really is foundational, isn't it?
Right.
People often just grab something, but the vessel isn't passive. It's not just holding your future vinegar or wine. It actively influences, well, everything. Safety, flavor, the whole process.
Totally. And the sources are super clear on rule number one, right off the bat. Food grade materials only, stuff that won't leach chemicals into what you're making. They give that sort of vivid example, someone using an old cement mixing bucket. Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely don't want that. And remember, you're putting food in these things. Sometimes acidic food, like vinegar. Or maybe you're cleaning with something basic or using hot liquids. The material has to stand up to it safely.
Right. Beyond the obvious, like avoiding cement buckets, what about the subtleties? Like, okay, some plastics are food grade, but maybe they scratch easily or hold smells.
That's a really important point. Scratches are bad news. They can become little hiding spots for bacteria, even if you think you've cleaned well. That's why glass and stainless steel are often preferred. They're smooth, non-porous, easy to really sanitize.
Okay, so material is key for safety and avoiding contamination. What about the actual design? The sources talk about the opening. Why is a wider opening so important?
Well, partly for practical reasons, like getting fruit pieces out, especially if they're large. But the main thing is cleaning, proper cleaning.
You mean getting a brush or sponge right in there?
Exactly. Mechanical scrubbing. It's just as vital, maybe even more so, than using chemical sanitizers.
Why is that physical scrubbing so critical?
Because of biofilm. Sanitizers struggle with biofilm that sticky layer microbes build up. You need to physically break that layer up first, scrub it away. Then your sanitizer can actually reach and kill any remaining unwanted microbes on the clean surface. Without that scrubbing, you're basically leaving little safe houses for contaminants.
Okay, that makes sense. Clean surface, happy yeast, better fermentation. So let's talk about what's inside the vessel once things get going. Kesser and Steen making their vinegar, they'll likely see cloudiness, right? Turbidity. And the sources say, don't panic. For apple cider vinegar, that cloudiness is often good.
It's a sign of activity.
And there's a neat trick mentioned, too, for overgear yeast, the top fermenting kind. You put a piece of apple in, and if it floats, you know the yeast is producing gas. Things are happening, assuming you've already added a bit of oil to keep the foam down, like the sources suggest.
Right, and that cloudiness, the turbidity, there's a reason it's good. It's full of tiny particles, bits of fruit pulp, yeast cells, maybe some bacteria. These aren't just floating around randomly. They act like little landing pads.
Yeah, landing pads.
Yeah, or nucleation sites. Places for the microorganisms to gather. They provide structure, maybe some nutrients too. It actually helps stabilize the fermentation, makes it more robust, more natural. And ultimately, that contributes to the flavor, the character of Tante Grün's vinegar. So a bit of haze isn't a flaw. It's often part of the desired process.
Interesting. It's like a little ecosystem in there. Now, something else worth mentioning, Kesser and Steen are doing small batches.
Yes, and that's actually quite challenging.
Really? You'd think smaller is easier.
Counterintuitively, no. Small batches have less thermal mass, so room temperature changes affect them much more quickly. Swings in temperature can stress the yeast, plus you have a higher surface area relative to the volume.
Meaning more exposure to air, potential contaminants, evaporation.
All those things. So controlling a small batch fermentation successfully, it requires real attention to detail. It's actually quite an accomplishment when it works well.
Wow, okay, so pulling this all together for you listening, it seems like this simple container, the fermenting vessel, is anything but simple. From picking the right material, making sure it's designed for deep cleaning, to even understanding what that cloudiness inside means. It really is the cornerstone, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It sets the stage for everything that follows. It's not just storage, it's environment.
It truly dictates the success of your deep dive into fermentation.
And maybe it makes you think,
Yeah.
Connecting this to the bigger picture. What other foundational things, details we barely notice, might be quietly shaping success or failure? Maybe in a project you're working on or a habit you're trying to build. Something to ponder.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into something that might seem basic,